welcome back to Haunted and Historic Australia. Here we have one of our adventures visiting the Liverpool Pioneer Cemetery. Enjoy. Last burial's 1958. Oh, they've actually even got them all listed.
And they took them away and now they put them back.
Yeah. But they're all up in that top corner. A little wander through Liverpool's oldest cemetery, Pioneer Cemetery. Seems like they're all in the top corner up there. Yeah.
The ones for significant ones.
I'm going to go for a wander. Bugger them, I don't care.
Yeah, you're allowed.
I'm not fussed who's looking at me. Alright. It's up to you, Dal. Yeah. But all the notables are up the top here. Wow. So it's such an old cemetery. I might have to dub over the top of this because it's quite loud here. Looking for people in specific. People who we've had in our previous episodes. William Broughton, who our first convict hung, Thomas Barrett, was who made the Charlotte Medal for Surgeon John White. His servant was William Broughton, and Thomas Barrett made him a medal also, out of copper, I believe. Now, he didn't put the Charlotte on that medal. It was just the words that he used on John White's medal about how long it took to get the Charlotte to New South Wales, and dates and the longitude, latitude. But we'll find him, he's here. And we've also got someone called James Badgery, who is noted for Badgery's Creek, the suburb. They bought property in the early 1800s, had children who made names for themselves, one of which actually gave a convict in my family a job and some land. Wow, such old stones. Even a place to sit down here. I'll just pop in here. What have we got? Johnson. Fraser. Birds aren't very happy that I'm here. Now, unfortunately, like most cemeteries of this age, there's not a lot of signage as to whereabouts you are, and it's not shown kind of rows and things. We were lucky with Bartholomew's, there were some rows listed, but unfortunately the older ones don't seem to have, not that I can see, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't seem to have any kind of rows on where certain lines along here are. Oh my gosh, there's another part over here. I didn't even know it extended that way. I'll have to check it out. So, just another. Wow, this place is bigger than I thought. I really didn't think it was this big. But yes, so we're in Liverpool. Liverpool of New South Wales in Australia. Just in case anyone outside of Australia is watching, or someone who isn't from New South Wales and may not be familiar with the suburb. Just going to look around here quickly and see who we've got here. Annetta. Yeah. Oh, here he is. Look, I almost walked away from him. William Broughton arrived in the Firstfleet. Yep, the Fellowship of the Firstfleeters. They look after these guys, making sure that they've got grave markings, so people who are interested in this kind of thing will be able to find them, because it's very hard. I mean, I did my family tree and found out how hard it really was to find people. Places like birth, deaths and marriages websites are so good to be able to search people if you know an approximate year and the names. So we found Broughton. Let's see who else we can find. Bin chickens look as though they're happy here too. So yes, we're in Liverpool. Now, Liverpool was established... Oh, here's James Badgery. Marsden. I wonder if they're any relation to Samuel Marsden, the flogging parson over there. I'll have a look in a minute. But yes, so there's James Badgery. His wife, and possibly their sons. Looks to be their sons, 31 and 32. Wow. Wow. That's so young. Unfortunately, people didn't really live that long back in the day. Yes, the Badgerys are known for Badgerys Creek. They moved into an area of Bringelly and over that way. And I'll have to do an episode on the Badgerys because they're so well known. They were also involved in the capture of Bly after the Rum Rebellion, which we'll have to do an episode on that as well. There's so much in the Aussie history. Honestly, I know it's only been 200 years, but if you're interested in history and Australian history, or British, a little bit of British history, there's just so much. It opens a can of worms. You find one story that leads to another story that leads to another story, and before you know where you are, you've got 30 videos of criminals, cutthroats and convicts circulating. But unfortunately these poor things are almost falling apart. I wonder what it's made out of. Some kind of stone. Is it sandstone? Almost looks like it's wood the way it's cracking. Well, if I can't find Thomas More, I'll have to... He's the next one. Thomas More I'm looking for. He was instrumental in establishing Liverpool. Moorebank is named after Thomas More. And the funny story, it's actually, I had this story in our Juliana ship. It was about a Rachel Turner, and she was the mistress of John White, the surgeon from the Firstfleet, who ended up with the Charlotte Medal from Thomas Barnett, the first man hung. And so she was the mistress of John White, and they had a child. And later, when that child was a little older, after John White had moved back to England, the child was sent to live with him as well, and obviously do his schooling there, as most of the wealthy Australian-born kids did, because it was understood that, you know, the better education would have come from Britain. We weren't really that established in our education back then. Not to say that we didn't have smart teachers and things like that teaching in the early days, but I think the general idea was that the wealthy kids went back to Britain to do their schooling, kind of like a university. So we do have some Turners here, but I don't believe that they're connected. Apologies for the cockatiels going wild here. So yes, now Rachel Turner. After John White went back to England and took the son, she was left here by herself, really. So she decided she was going to marry again. And Thomas More came along. And at this point he was all right. I don't think he was extremely wealthy or anything like that at the time. But he was doing all right for himself, and he liked Rachel, and Rachel liked Thomas, and they ended up getting together. And then from there, he became very wealthy, and naturally so did she. Now, their son, between John White and Rachel Turner, came back. He was in the army, actually. He was in the British Army, and he ended up coming back to Australia eventually. And he actually fought in the Napoleonic Wars, and he was successful there and came back to New South Wales for the first time since he was a kid. And he ended up reuniting with his mother Rachel, who is now with Thomas More. And yeah, and he ended up marrying, pretty certainly he ended up marrying a woman in New South Wales, Sydney perhaps. But he doesn't live long, unfortunately. I'm not 100% sure what he died from. I'll have to check that in again. I may have had that in the Juliana story. But having trouble finding him at the moment. It's got to be here somewhere. I'll have to refer to the map. Now, yeah, he died a year before his mother. 1837, I believe. He died, and Rachel died in 1838. And I believe Thomas went on for a little longer. And I'll confirm that once I find his grave. He's buried, and I understand Rachel's buried with him. And the son of Rachel and John White is buried here too, I believe. So, be a good one to do in the dark, this place. Although there's no paths, it's just kind of unlike All Saints. Well, at least you're getting a mow over that side. So, it's, you wouldn't imagine that he'd be too far down. I might try and pop up Bosley. Now that seems... We've got a Bosley Park area in the Fairfield City region. So this is what, like a big cemetery for this Fairfield City, Liverpool City area. Stubbs. Abbott. There's a couple of notables that I haven't even heard of before that I'll have to have a little bit of a look into. But it's difficult to see. I mean, they're all facing toward the street, so I'm seeing the back of them here, so that's not really helpful. But I will have a look. Burnside now. Burnside, was it Mary Burnside? Let me have a little look around the side. Mary Burnside, hopefully that's her name and I haven't got that wrong. Oh, her name's not on it. She was instrumental in, she was the matron at the men's asylum in Liverpool that was created. What do we got? Alice, Mary maybe? I'll correct it anyway. I'll pop that up on the screen. But yeah, she was instrumental. She was a part of the men's asylum in Liverpool. That is now the Liverpool TAFE, which when I attended the Liverpool TAFE didn't really know about. I had no idea that I was on the grounds of an asylum, a since retired asylum. I mean, it looked old. I knew it was old. I knew it had some historic significance. But being 17 at the time, and although I loved history, I hadn't gotten into the Aussie history as full on as I am now, clearly. And having trouble finding Thomas More. Where are you? I mean, there's places everywhere here. Stones. I haven't searched any of these ones here. Apologies if I'm walking too fast. I want to cover as much ground as I can before I must leave. Mabel. Oh, look at that. Emmeline Australia, beloved wife of Robert Gray. Emmeline Australia. Wow. Isn't that lovely, that name? Emmeline. And Australia, of course. Now, Frederick George Moore. Now, I don't believe that Rachel and Thomas had any children. There's a Moore there, but I don't believe that they're a relation. Samuel Moore. Brown. Let's have a look at these Marsdens. Yes, I don't believe they had any children. I think she'd had her child already. Oh, look at this. Fortunately, we've had such a lot of rain lately. Hopefully I don't disappear down the depths. Look at those, my gosh. Have a go at the detail. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're any relation to the flogging parson Samuel Marsden. Marsdens. But I wouldn't discount it. Got more. Parson, Barrett, more Bosley, Crooks, Brown, Charles Eber, Richard Bull. The surname Bull is quite significant here as well. One of the notables. Let's walk through a spider web, so that was fun. Yeah, I've got a feeling that Thomas More's going to have something quite extravagant, being that he was such a prominent person. But where are you? I'll put these ones over here, these larger ones. Have a little look. I may have been past here already. Our dear little Minnie. Oh, 6 years. That's very sweet. That's sweet. If I looked at those ones over there, Flaherty. Oh, someone came a cropper. Yeah, so there's only the 3 of them buried. Oh, look, there's more down there. I'll have to go down and have a look. Might walk along the path quickly. Apologies if my finger get in the way. Just holding my phone sideways, so it's a little awkward. Haven't been able to find Thomas More yet. No, I think he might be in this section down here. They look old and nice looking. Yeah. I'll have a little look at these ones here. Rochester, Thompson, Nelson, Hall. Apologies for the noise. I might try and remove that noise from the... What's that down there? What I might do is, before we go, I'll quickly, if I can't find him in the next, say, 15, I'll quickly jump off and look him up. Oh, look, they've got scaffolding, some kind of a contraption there holding that stone up. Geez, they are old. That's why they've got this boarded off here, so nobody gets in there, because they're unfortunately so old, 200 years old, these things, that they're just falling apart. Carruthers, is it? Carruthers, Rochester, George, Engelbrett. Apologies if I'm massacring the names here. Elliot Pashy, Southwell, Derby, McDougall. Oops, I'm holding it up too high now. Whoop. Apologies. Got a bit of sun here, but it hasn't dried out all the rain. Scott. All right. Wow, they are so old, but it's really good that they're fortifying them at the back. Ground looks quite hard too. I think I'll jump back into... Actually, I'll come down here first. Apologies again for the noise. They're mowing today. Just my luck. What is this? It's like a toilet block or something. I'll edit out all this noise. Formerly, the Old Liverpool Cemetery has been redeveloped by Liverpool City Council as a memorial to the pioneers of the district. Mark Latham unveiled it, and it appears to be 1992. Lovely. Some more stuff over here. Little plaques. So 30 years ago they unveiled some of this now. It belongs to this thing. Some plaques over there I'll have to get before we go. Not really sure. Oh, masonry. The Freemasons. Let me have a little look over here. There's something going on here. World War I German internees. Oh, wow. So, in this cemetery, 72 of more than 5,000 German residents interned at Holsworthy military camp during World War I were buried. 30 of them died of Spanish influenza brought back by the AIF troops returning to Australia. Wow. Bartman. Well, that is really interesting. There's more down here. Let me just scoot across. Hopefully I don't face plant a spider web. Oh, there's more down the bottom. Wow. Jeez, look, eagles. Mather. What else we got here? Watkinson. There's just so many. So many. Small man coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. Alright, I think I might pop over this side. I don't want to get these ways done all over there. Wow. Nolan. Now, what does this plaque say? Liverpool World War I service personnel. Oh wow, have a go at that. In the Holsworthy military training area. Removed in 1962 to the Garden of Remembrance of Rookwood. We'll have to get to Rookwood. I'll definitely have to get to Rookwood, and we've got so many, including my ancestors. Jessup, Staunton. Alright, we're coming up to about the half hour now. And I don't want to get pooped on, so I'm going to move away from here. But I'm struggling to find Thomas More, so I'll have to look him up in a minute or two. Wow, it just keeps going. We've seen up the other end. We've missed down the bottom there. We might have to gather that next time. The mower man, unfortunately, is covering that area. But yes, I'll pop off in a second and get the coordinates of Thomas More so as we can quickly find him before we have to go. Listen, Ben Chicken, keep back. Cliff. I'll just pop in here, I think. Grass is a little wet, but Forbes. What have we got back here? Hope it's not too jumpy. I'm walking on soft grass, and it's a little bit on the jumpy side. Wow, we've got puddles everywhere here, so I might move back up the other way. Oh, dead birds everywhere through here. God, they must fight each other for food. It's awful. Now, hopefully I don't... Let me just straighten that up a bit. Hopefully I don't miss the grave of Thomas More. I've possibly walked past it. It may even be one that they're repairing, because as you can see, there's quite a few that have been damaged and having to be held up. Now I'm almost certain that he's down the other end. So what I'll do, I'll add on the ending where we've got Thomas More. But this is Liverpool Pioneer Cemetery. It's vast. Well, not as big as Rookwood, but it's quite a big place, you know. It's a walk, a good walk around. But there's no more burials here. They've got another Liverpool cemetery on Moore Street, where current internments go. And they've saved this for us. So as we can walk down, like St John's and All Saints, and some others that we're yet to get to, and see our heritage. And those who made Australia what it is today, started it off for us. Alright, we're back. I looked it up, and here, Captain A.D. White. Now this is the interment. We've got everybody in here. For some reason it doesn't have Thomas More's name really visible. I'll just pop down the side, perhaps it's just here. There it is. Beautiful. So we've got Rachel, Thomas, and Rachel's son with John White. He was with the Royal Engineers. 1837, died 44. And Rachel the following year, almost to the date. 13th November, 24th of November. And then Thomas a couple of years later, on Christmas Eve. So, founder of Moore College, donor of other church benefactions. Interesting. But we found him. So they're all here. But he was instrumental in getting Liverpool set up. With, I believe, the help of Macquarie, Lachlan Macquarie. As he helped quite a few people, Lachlan Macquarie. I liked him. He was one of the better governors that we had, I think. Philip was good. But Macquarie was good too. So there you have it. It's Liverpool Pioneer Cemetery. Up the other end, away from the bin chickens. But stay tuned, because we will come back here in the evening when it's quiet. And I do have the K2 on me at the moment. Oh, why not? Pop it on for just a second. Wow, if that's anything to go by. Wow. So I'll turn that off. We'll come back here in the evening and we'll definitely do a bit of investigating, because these guys, I'm sure, have a lot to say to us. Maybe some words of wisdom in these times. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and hit that notification bell. You know it, so you know when we're posting more.
Aussie made.